There are not many characters in Norse mythology and the sagas quite like Aslaug, also known by her nickname Kraka, or the Crow. In the sagas we look back to the glories of a distant and perhaps largely imaginary past, where semi-historical and legendary things are said to have taken place. According to the tale of Ragnar Lothbrok, Aslaug was the daughter of Sigurd, a legendary hero of Germanic legend who killed a dragon. Aslaug's mother was the shield maiden Brunhild. Their story is a tragic one. Sigurd slays the dragon Fafnir by laying in a pit and stabbing it in the heart from underneath. He then awakens Brunhild, who he finds sleeping in a ring of shields. She is described as a Valkyrie, which is a female figure that guides the souls of the dead warriors to Odin's hall in Valhalla. Sigurd would cut armour off her that seems to have grown on her skin, and then the two promised to marry each other. The couple would soon arrive at the court of King Gibica. Sigurd was convinced to marry the king's daughter instead of Brunhild, and Brunhild is also convinced into marrying another man. Brunhild eventually demands her new husband Gunnar to kill Sigurd, and Gunnar tells his younger brother to kill him. So one night, Gunnar's brother would force his way into Sigurd's bedchamber and would stab him in the back with his sword. Sigurd would turn around and cut Gunnar's brother in two, but it was too late. Sigurd's wound was mortal, and he died. Brunhild would soon after commit suicide, and she and Sigurd would both burn on the same pyre. At the deaths of Sigurd and Brunhild, a man called Heimir would take care of Aslaug, who at this point was a young child. He kept her hidden in a harp, and would wander around Norway as a musician, and would hide away the daughter of two heroes, who had both died so tragically. Heimir and Aslaug would arrive at Spangereid in Norway, where they stayed for the night in the house of two peasants called Aki and Grima. Aki believed the harp contained valuable items inside, and he told his wife Grima. Grima then persuaded her husband Aki to murder Heimir while he was sleeping, which he proceeded to do. However, once they broke the harp open, they discovered a little girl, whom they would raise as their own. The two peasants saw Aslaug's beauty, and knew she was of noble birth. In order to hide her beauty, they rubbed her in tar and smeared soot onto her face. They also made her wear dirty rags and made her go to work. She would earn the nickname Kraka, which is Old Norse for crow, as her face was always covered in soot and tar. Once Aslaug grew into a woman, her beauty could no longer be hidden, and she would find herself bathing in a river, with warriors gazing at her magnificence. Whilst Aslaug was bathing, a group of warriors were staring, and they were all entranced by her. They were so taken by her that they allowed some bread they were baking to burn. These men just so happened to be Ragnar Lothbrok's men, and when he inquired about why they allowed the bread to burn, they told him about this woman they had seen. Ragnar told his warriors to bring her back, and he told his men to give her 3 simple instructions: to come not dressed or undressed, to come not hungry, but not full, and not alone, but not with others. Aslaug, being as smart as she was beautiful, came to Ragnar wearing a fishing net, having a bite of an onion, and had a dog with her, fulfilling all 3 of the riddle-like requirements Ragnar had for her. He was clearly struck by her beauty, and made her an offer to make her his queen. Aslaug, however, declined, and refused to marry the king until he had completed his mission in Norway. While away on another campaign, Ragnar met a petty king, who persuaded him to marry the Swedish princess Innemborg instead of Aslaug. While he travelled back to Norway, 3 messenger crows had already told Aslaug about Ragnar's new flame, and she would confront him and say, "I will return to the peasant folk, whom people believe to be my parents. They murdered my foster father Heimir, but before you do anything rash, I will reveal to you a secret. Know that my name is not Kraka, but Aslaug, for I am the daughter of King Sigurd the Dragon Slayer, who ranks as high over the kings of the north as the sun ranks above the stars. Aslaug was a formidable woman, and once Ragnar returned, she also refused sexual intimacy with Ragnar until they were married. Aslaug had the powers of sorcery and foresight, and she warned her new husband that in the interests of their firstborn son, they should not consummate the marriage for 3 days. According to Ragnar's saga, she said this: 3 nights together, but yet apart, shall we bide, nor worship the gods as yet. From my son this would save a lasting harm, for boneless is he thou wouldst now beget. Ragnar, however, was overcome with lust, and made love to his new wife without heeding her words. The result of their untimely union was their first son Ivar, otherwise known as Ivar the Boneless. According to some sagas, Ivar was unable to walk, and had to be carried around on poles or the back of a shield, conveying Aslaug's power of foresight. Ragnar and Aslaug had 4 sons: Ivar the Boneless, Bjorn Ironside, Hvitserk, and Sigurd Snake in the Eye. According to the saga of Ragnar Lothbrok and his sons, Aslaug would also say to Ragnar, "You know that I am with child. It will be a male child that I have, and a snake will lie within the boy's eyes. I want the boy to be called after my father, as within his eye will be the mark of glory." Aslaug would soon after go into labour, and Sigurd would be born. He was laid on the lap of Ragnar's cloak. Sigurd was born with a mark in his eye depicting the image of an Ouroboros, an ancient symbol depicting a serpent or dragon eating its own tail, again showing Aslaug's power of foresight. In Norse mythology, the Ouroboros appears as one of the children of the god Loki. This serpent grew so large that it could encircle the entire world. Ragnar would soon decide to go to England, but before he departed, Aslaug would give him a prophetic warning to not go. He went anyway, and fell into the hands of King Ella of Northumbria, and was thrown into a pit of snakes where he met his tragic death. She survived her spouse by many years, honouring the memory of the noble Viking who had rescued her from thraldom and made her a queen of the realm. And so ends the tale of Aslaug. I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to like, subscribe and share, and I'll see you all soon for another History Profile.